Miss Crutchfield. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Miss Taylor.
Good. I know that it's been a few weeks since I have been able to get in and see you. So we want to talk a little bit about where we left off the last time we met. You did the reflective.
Hold on, let me find it in my notes.
Okay, while you're going through it, we did the reflective practice, and we were looking for something to leverage in the classroom. And the one thing that we noticed was teach one objective-driven lessons. And so we talked about some things that we would do to make sure that your objectives were woven throughout your lesson. When I came in on yesterday, I noticed that there were some things that were still not in place. Tell me a little bit about how you've been using your objectives, communicating your objectives.
Well, I have been posting them on the board, and I was prepared to do the things that you asked me to do from the time we did the reflective practice, but you didn't come back, so.
Well, what day was that we met last?
About 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. Okay, it has been a minute. Totally understand that. But remember that objectives, they don't really change. In every lesson, you need to make sure that you are communicating to the students what it is you want them to know and be able to do by the end of the lesson. So how have you been doing that in your classroom besides posting it?
I always tell them how they're going to be assessed based on what we're going to be doing that day.
Okay, so I noticed in your lesson that didn't quite happen. Ms. Crutchfield, why do you think it's important for your instructional lessons to be driven by goals and objectives?
Well, I mean, I think it's just like anything, like this purpose of this meeting. I mean, I need to know what is the purpose of it and what we're going to accomplish at the end. So I think the same thing with students.
What about your PLC coach? I know that we also talked about utilizing the PLC coach so that those times where I'm not here, you have someone in the building that can come in and give you some consistent feedback. She's not coming in. Have you kind of reminded her or talked to her about it?
I'm not her boss, so I'll tell her that.
And you talked about the importance of having objectives that guide your work and guide your lesson. But I didn't see that. So,
I would just say that you really weren't there long enough to see anything. I mean, you probably, 15, 20 minutes in class?
Well, that particular time I was only there for about 20 minutes. But the time before when we sat and looked at the reflective practice, we looked at the entire lesson and noticed that even in that lesson, the students didn't really know how they were going to be assessed. And you started out talking about one particular topic, but then it kind of jumped from here to there. So
that's
we really
because
Miss
Taylor said this. That's because I teach to the students. So if they have a question.
But we have a curriculum map that guides us. And
So
we want to make sure that hold on, pause just a second. We also want to make sure that in all things we do, we are following the curriculum map. And so, because that is going to guide, how we're going to implement things with our students. And when we looked at, that reflective practice, the one thing we noticed was that was not clearly communicated.
Well, Ms. Taylor, I teach to the students. And
Well,
so
Ms.
students have a
Crutchfield,
question. I answer
that's
the question.
good. I want you to make sure that you understand. That's differentiation. You understand the needs of all the students in your classroom. I need that. You need that. Making those connections, that's great. But if the kids don't know what they're supposed to be doing, then how can they don't know how you're going to assess them? We're thinking about next steps. I'm going to work a little harder to make sure that I am here, a little bit more often, but I really want you to begin to use some of your colleagues, your PLC coach, people to come in and give you that immediate feedback, those that are in the building.
About writing objectives? You want me to partner with somebody about writing objectives?
Well, that's called co-planning.
All right,
I want to
so-
see that you have, and I'll send this all to you in email. Next steps, I want to see that your objectives are written so that the students can see it, and anybody else that walks into that classroom, they can see that, you know, exactly what's supposed to be taking place in here.
You want to see what I'm already doing.
The
Okay,
progression
that's
of
on the board.
Yes, because it wasn't on there when I came in there the day before. Remember, you didn't have targets. Now you did have some
Well, I didn't know you were
standards. You had some You didn't know I was coming. So you, okay,
I'm just kidding. You need to lighten up.
okay, you're so thank you.
So when are you coming back?
I'm coming. Miss Crutchfield, when we coming back? Not next Thursday, because you told me it was fall break.
Right.
But when am I coming back?
Are you sure?
When am I coming back?
You said the following Thursday.
The
What you said now?
following
But
Thursday.
after I did that other thing, you said you was coming out and shut see.
Well,